Why, hi there again. It's me, Uncle Ron, and again I'm answering a viewer's question. I was asked about Digital Diamond Baseball. Version 10 has been out for a while, and I've not usually been a huge fan of the game. I bought, I think, 7 or 8 or whatever it was. Played a little bit of it, didn't really like it, put it away. But version 10, which has been out for a while, has um, a board game companion. If you play Stratomatic or PC Replay, if you own the season, you can manually enter pretty much everything. You don't need to necessarily own the season or play the Strat or PC version of that particular season. That's what I'm trying to say. If you own APA, you can input the APA results from your cards or playing that onto either Strat or PC Replay, and Strat does all the bookkeeping, and PC Replay does all the bookkeeping for you and tells your lineups and whatever your little heart desires. Well, Digital Diamond 10 now can do that too. And the big advantage that Digital Diamond 10 has over Stratomatic and PC Replay Baseball is that you can pretty much import any season your little heart desires into it. So let's say you own the 1947 season and APA or Strat Cards and Dice and don't want to play the Strat PC game or Pocket Pennant Payoff or APA or NPNG Plus or NP3 or Pocket Pennant Run or any Cards and Dice game. Roster Card is my game of choice when it comes to that, but it can be Play Ball or Fall Classic or whatever. You can import the season into Digital Diamond Baseball 10 if you so choose and use that to play the game. You input the results, it keeps track of everything, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not going to show you how that all works. If you really want to see more about how that's done, I might actually do that for you at some other point, but I'm in the middle of uploading something else. In fact, you're going to see Action PC Baseball in the background in a minute because that needed to be open for me to show you what I'm about to show you. Decided for the moment to replay the AL East in 1988 because like 4 teams were within 4 games of first place. And the Indians weren't that far behind either. The only 2 teams that were out of it were, the Indians and Baltimore. So let's show you at least the stat package of how it works for the game itself, and I'll tell you if I like it. I made a mistake. The person asked if it still runs in Java. If it does, it runs a lot cleaner. And so it does run in its own program. You don't need to be in a web browser to do it. So let's take a look at what the stats they give you for it. Remember, the computer didn't play this game. I played the game and input the results. All right, I'll show you the bad news about the Red Sox first. I thought the Red Sox played Baltimore to start the 88 season, but that was a long time ago. What the hell? I was just a senior in high school. So Jack Morris and Pat Sheridan key in the Detroit's victory. You can change and put Tigers in Detroit and anything you want with that. I don't really care. So I don't do it. A difficult day for the Boston crowd as the Fenway faithful watch their team get beat bad. Oh, when they got beat bad. The 13 runs played by Detroit was more than enough to send the fans home frustrated. Pat Sheridan led the offense for Detroit, going 2 for 6 with 2 home runs and 5 RBI. With the victory, Detroit is now 1-0. So the AI wrote that. I didn't write it. Okay, so you get an AI written game summary with version 10. And here is the newspaper box square. I guess you can export that into HTML if you want. So this is Boris versus Clemens. Goodness gracious, Buffy St. Marie. I know it's tough to read, but Alan Trammell went 3 for 5 with 4. But yeah, so it keeps track of all that. Again, I just entered the results as I play. It had all the lineups for me, so it's an as-played lineup. I just cross-reference off my team sheet and roster card. And it was kind of cool. It told me that the Tigers went 5 for 13 with runners in scoring position, and that Pat Sheridan hit 2 home runs and who had the RBI. And who had the heirs, Lemon and Tom Brookins, and I remembered why I just could not stand John McNamara as manager of the Boston Red Sox. Oops. Because why else would you play Ryan Greenwell in right, Rice in left, and have Sam Horn as the DH? Really? Brady Anderson, who would later be traded for Mike Boddicker, was their opening day center fielder, and he didn't hit 50 homers, but he hit pretty well. And why in the world was McNamara batting Boggs third? And goodness gracious, Buffy St. Marie, Dwight Evans at first, and Greenwell in right. Okay. So I kept track of that. The Red Sox did go 8 for 14 with runners in scoring position and still got shellacked. And again, I kept track of, Mike Greenwell made 2 errors in right. I'm thrilled beyond belief. And so here's the pitching lines. It's just easy to go through and change the pitchers because you're just looking at team sheets anyway, and you can sort it a number of different ways in Digital Diamond 10, and somehow Morris pitched to the score and survived 6 1/3 and got nailed. And Paul Gibson pitched well, and then whoever this Heinkel dude was did not, but at that point the game was over. So you get the game score and the number of pitches thrown. That doesn't matter for my purposes because I'm the one rolling, so I decide what pitchers are done. But it does give good eye candy, and if you do play Digital Diamond Baseball, fatigue does matter. Clemens, coming off back-to-back Cy Young years, 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned. He walked 3, struck out 4, and one of those home runs. And then Dennis Lamp pitched well. I had to use Lee Smith in the 8th, and I understand why now they went out and got Jeff Reardon. He did not have a great year. And then I don't remember who this Troutween guy was, but it was insult to injury. So kept track of all that. It tells you that both the lineups were as played, and that Pat Sheridan was a player of the game, and the game was played at Fenway. There are ballpark effects within the game. I didn't remember. I played something else, but there was actually a nice picture of Fenway, so it kind of felt like you were there. The extended box score is kind of cool, so it gives you the line score like that, and then it tells you, doubles, triples, homers, walks, intentional walks. I think I did an intentional walk, but I'm not quite sure how it's done within the board game command, so it's never going to show up. Strikeouts, stolen bases, caught stealing, bunts, sac flies, errors, batting average. Okay? And actually, Sheridan had a grand slam. I think that was the end of the night. That was in the 8th, so it was off Lee Smith. So that is that, and they hit the 2 double plays, and somehow the Tigers left on 11 runners. Goodness gracious. Seriously? And that's the Red Sox box right there. The expanded pitching box has doubles allowed, triples allowed, homers, walks, strikeouts, wild pitches, hit by pitch, how many pitches they threw in the game score. Again, very handy to have if that's your sort of thing. Here's what I liked most. It broke out the fielding separately. Total number of chances and putouts, assists, and the errors. And if you're kind of a stickler on how the game distributes the outs and stuff, you can see how good the fielding is for that. For instance, Darrell Evans had 8 putouts. Mike Heath had 7, so there was a good deal of that, and who had assists and the errors, and Chet Lemon had a busy day tonight. And for the Red Sox, who was there, Kedman had 10 putouts, and there were 10 strikeouts, and so I thought that was pretty good. If you like how the scorecard works in the game, it tells you how that all worked. Strikeouts and who reached on the error and fielder's choice and how that goes. So again, and that's all in the regular game too. You're using the game to spit back at you what you input into it. For instance, Sheridan had a homer off of Clemens, I think, in the 5th. He did, because that line underneath says I yanked Clemens after that. It was a 6th run of the game and added an RBI. And so when he hit the grand slam off of Lee Smith in the 8th, the homer is a different color, the 4 RBI, and I'm not sure why that's R6, but he scored. So that's all there. So I don't know what the R means for that. They scored. If you want a little play-by-play, the game gives you the text. So Darrell Evans in the first steps in, 2 out. And that's hitting the air to center field. Anderson starts in, but now he's going back, poor rookie. Off his glove, an error on Anderson. He should have made that play, and Evans is safe at first. There's no counts. The pitch count, as I said, is all cosmetic. But it's there, and I think that's kind of cool. And it tells you individually the scoring play. So if you just want to see what happened, again, if you're quick playing these, and you can quick play all these games if you so choose, it's there. And so the hitter is Owen in the bottom of the second, 2 away here. Bases are loaded, and that's hitting the air to center field. Gary Pettis starts back, coming in, and that's going to drop in for a single. Here comes Greenwell. Here comes Evans. Gedman hustles to third. It doesn't tell you the score, but if you read it, you know, pretty good in giving the highlights for that. So close. Stats. Is that stats? So there's standings and run differential, and again, I'm only doing the American League East. So the Yankees haven't played yet. They opened up against the Twins, and Cleveland opens up against Texas. Reports. So if I wanted to, we'll do team reports. Boston. You can sort by plate appearances. So here's everyone who had played in the game and what the game keeps track of. And I think you can add the subtract to that. Shows their ages, and again, it keeps track of a lot of different things. If I want to do a play report, let's say Wade Boggs, I can show you his daily line, which would be pretty good. And it'll tell you how he did against all the pitchers he faced. So Don Heinkel, Jack Morris, and Paul Gibson. So it breaks it all down there. I think it does a very good job of replacing ball stat and ball score, which isn't being developed. It's $24.99 for the game, but you get the full game with it. So it will play out. Anything that you choose not to play if you don't want. I don't want to. With this particular project that I have in my head, it pretty much is, I'm doing 100% of it. But if you wanted to do it, let's say, you know, like I do for a replay, just dip in and out for different games, choose the game, play it by hand, and let the computer play the rest if you want. Here's the Red Sox schedule. So they would be off on the 5th, and then 2 against, when did they play Baltimore? Anyway. So it shows you the home starter, away starter, winning, losing, pitcher, save, and player of the game, and any special events that the computer designates. So for that, the transactions. So if you do an as played, it'll tell you when players are coming up and when players are coming down, such as John Troutween, Kevin Romine, Rich Gedman, Jeff Sellers, and activate. Bob Stanley doesn't come until May 15th, so call down or send down, and of course on the 4th of June, the trade that sent Brady Anderson for Mike Boddicker. So it's all there. Special events, there's none there. If you want to see what the game ratings are for players, it's how they're all set and stuff. So. And the roster settings and what their duration is within the game and all that. So it really is. It's a full-fledged sim that you can play whatever engine you want. In fact, they're kind of encouraging it. Is it built on Java? Other versions were built on Java. I don't think this is. Don't ask me how it was programmed. It seems to run a lot faster. If you subscribe to their own YouTube channel, there are videos on how to use the board game companion and the changes that they made. But as far as installing seasons, I believe you can go through back to 1928 and install You can reset very easily and all that. So, as far as a board game companion, I think it does great, and you can use whatever board game you want. And again, you load it up, and it tells you what the lineups are, and it tells you who is on the roster on a given day, at least for the 80 seasons and such. So definitely, if you're into playing cards and dice, and we're looking for something that's not iScore or doesn't have the learning curve of ball stat and ball score, this is worth thinking about. It's $25, but I already know I'm going to get my money's worth out of it just because how easy it is to do. I don't believe you can roll dice on the screen, but you can use Ball Roller, or I use the Lewis apps, Lewis Research app, which has roster card baseball, and I just use them as fast action cards. All right, well, hope you learned a little bit from it, and at some point I probably will show off how I do that. But for now, I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you the next time.